5 common residency interview mistakes. If you're new here, my name is Malki Asad, a plastic surgery resident in the US, and when I applied to residency, I interviewed at top-notch institutions such as Harvard, Hopkins, and the Cleveland Clinic, and I also helped prepare over 100 applicants for their residency interview. So here are the 5 most common mistakes I see students make during their interview. Oh, and before I forget, there are 2 free guides that will help you ace your residency interviews that I will share with you at the end of this video. The first mistake is not talking about your strength and why the program should choose you. Remember, residency interviews should be fun, but they're not chit chat. You're not there just to have fun. You're there to sell yourself and convince the program that you are the right fit for the job, for the residency position. So with every answer, you should say somehow your strength and why you should be chosen for this position. So for example, when answering the question, tell me about yourself, don't just talk about generic things about yourself and your personality and hobbies. You need to talk about things that would convince the program why they should choose you, such as your clinical skills, your research, your presentations, accomplishments, awards, scholarships. When you're talking about why are you interested in the specialty, you can loop in the rotations that you've done in the US. You can talk about a residency you've done in your home country. When giving an example about a situation for teamwork, a situation for a patient interaction, you can loop in your research skills. So every answer could be an opportunity to say something that can convey a strength. And the mistake I see students make is that they shy from talking about themselves. You have to be humble. This is a definite point. You should not seem arrogant or you're trying to show off. You should seem humble, but at the end of the day, this is a professional interview that you need to convey your strength in a professional manner. And if you need help from an advisor to show you how to do that and not sound arrogant, how to convey your strength in a professional manner, go ahead and schedule a session with one of our advisors who are more than happy to teach you and guide you through this process, because interviews are extremely important and they can really make the difference between you matching and you not matching. The second mistake is not supporting your claims with evidence. And what do I mean by that? Some applicants answer the question of what are your strengths or why should we choose you by, I'm a hard worker, I'm a team player, I'm someone who likes to work with patients. And that is nice, but I want to hear why. As someone interviewing you, I want to hear some stories that can really prove what you're claiming. So if you're a team player, maybe tell me about a story when you work in a team during research or during clinical or during your basketball championship that can really prove that you're a team player. If you're telling me about hard work and determination, tell me maybe a story how you faced a lot of challenges coming to the US, or if you're from the US, how the challenges that you faced growing up in a poor community or a community with not much resources. You're the first doctor to pursue medicine in your family or your whole village. That could be something that can show me you're a hard worker or you're determined to achieve your goals. So in summary, follow the principle of show, not tell. Really tell me examples that can convey these messages rather than just tell me abstract things about yourself. The same applies to expressing interest in the specialty. Instead of telling me internal medicine is amazing and you build, amazing relationships with patients, tell me about some of the interactions you had during your internal medicine rotation. Tell me about some interactions you had during your residency in your home country or away rotations that can really prove these points you're trying to tell me. And loop in the first point I talked about, which is showing your strength. So you don't need to tell me I did a rotation in the US as an IMG. You can tell me during my US clinical experience in Florida, we worked together as a team, and you can provide me with an example of teamwork. So you see how I can loop in the strength into an example of teamwork, and then I express a story to tell about teamwork. So I followed the show, not tell, and I also expressed a strength. And in the guides that I'll provide you at the end of this video, you will see some sample answers that show you how to express strength through your answers and the show, not tell principle. The third mistakes I see is too long or too short of an answer. A lot of applicants I prepare, they go on and on and on with their answer, and it's like a 3 or 4 minute answer to a simple question. And I understand a lot of you as applicants want to talk a lot about your accomplishments and every step of the journey because you believe everything is important. But remember, your time for the interview is limited. So you only have maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes of time to discuss everything with your interviewer. So every question you take extra, you're cutting from other questions the interviewer might ask you. So keep your answers concise and to the point, which means you need to sacrifice some unimportant details. So when you're practicing for interviews, list all the possible bullet points you want to talk about, and then you have to make that decision of what is definitely important to include and what is not as important and should not be included. The optimal length of an answer is between 1 minute, 1 minute and a half. Anything over a minute and a half I think is going on the long side. Definitely don't go over 2 minutes for your answer. On the other hand, also don't be too short. Don't answer the question in a 20-second answer. That's generally not enough information. So you want to use the time that you have to really answer the question, answer what the interviewer is looking for, convey the strength, and don't finish it within 20-30 seconds. So try to use that time in a reasonable manner that answers the question and also conveys the strength and why you are a good fit for this job. The fourth mistake is not doing your research. I've seen many applicants who go on an interview with the program and they don't know who's the program director, they don't know what are the values of this program, whether this program values research or not, they don't know the different rotations. So you need to do your research before you go and interview the program. How can you get this information? There are multiple sources. The website is an important one. You can look at the social media platforms of the program. Nowadays, a lot of programs are sharing a lot of information about their residents, their rotations on their social media such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. So go and follow these programs on social media and learn a little bit about them. Also pay attention to the information that the program director generally provides in a presentation at the beginning of the interview. And you can also gather some information from other applicants, from the resident themselves or faculty you know or you have connections to. So do your research and also research the faculty that you're interviewing with, because some programs give you the name of who you'll be interviewing with, and it would give you a huge advantage if you know what are the clinical and the research interests of the people you're interviewing with. Because if you know that someone is interested in research about Crohn's disease and you've done a lot of that, you can mention that during the interview and you will find a big connection now with that faculty. And the final mistake I want to talk about is not organized answers. When prepping applicants, I see a lot of applicants who start with one point, go to point B, then they go back to point A, point C, and the answer is very disorganized and I lose track of what's happening here. So how can you be organized? How can you organize your answer? The best way to do that, in my opinion, is by organizing your answer through bullet points. So let's say you want to answer the question of what are your strengths or why should we choose you here, and you want to answer that question by talking about teamwork, your research skills, and your clinical skills. So now we know that you have 3 points you want to touch on during your answer. So if you've prepared for that answer and you wrote these 3 bullet points on a paper and then you start expanding through a story of each point, you start with point 1, talk about the story, point B, talk about the story, point C, talk about the story, and now things are flowing in an order that makes sense and is easy to follow. And remember, you can have multiple bullet points and pick specific points for each program. So you can pick teamwork, research, clinical skills for program A, teamwork, leadership, and clinical skills for program B that values leadership. So you can tailor these points based on the program. But remember, whenever you're answering a question, put a few points in your mind and start talking about them so you don't seem disorganized in your answer and people would have hard time following you. Now you tell me a few mistakes that you made on your interview trail and how you overcame them so future applicants can learn from them. And by the way, if you need help with your interview preparation, if you just need to spend 1 hour, 3 hours, or 5 hours with an expert advisor who can guide you through this process, make sure your answers are correct and convey the strength, we have that for you. We have an amazing list of advisors training at top-notch institutions, and all our interview prep, by the way, is 100% satisfaction guarantee. What does that mean? It means if you're not happy after the first hour, we'll give you your money back, no questions asked. So go ahead and check out the different offers we have on our website, thematchguide.com, and I'll leave the link for that in the cards above and in the description below. And of course, you can go ahead and schedule a free consultation with one of our customer support team to answer any questions you have about our services. And now it's time to share with you the free guides I promised you at the beginning of this video. To get these guides, click on the link in the cards above or in the description below, and it will take you to a page where you can put your name and email, and then you'll receive a confirmation email, and then you will receive the full guide to your email. If you find any value in this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friend who's applying to residency and need help with their interview preparation. And by the way, before you go, make sure to watch the full interview preparation tutorial that I recently recorded by clicking on the link here or in the description below. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and good luck on your match.